Hello and welcome to the Not My Job Pod. I am your host, Emily Gant, and today I am joined by the wonderful Anna Vasileva, who kind of works in tech, but not really anymore.
No,
I
not
would
really.
say,
Hi, everyone.
yeah, I feel like you don't work in tech, but we met because we both were working in tech. So
True, but I escaped. I escaped that world.
let's hone in on why are we using the word escaped?
Well, how do I say it? I think I'm in my 30s now, and I like looking back, I don't think it's for me anymore. I think when I started and I worked in a startup for 3 years, I felt much younger and I think I had a lot more energy and my priorities were different. But as you grow and as things changed, obviously in that period, I've moved countries, I've completely changed my life. It just did not align with the lifestyle that I had, that I wanted to have. And so it made sense to kind of like, I just kind of I was actually talking to a person about it. I think I had like rose colored glasses that just fell one day, and I just realized that this is not sustainable. Tech is not sustainable. At least that startup was not for me. And so I decided that it was definitely time to, like be in a company that puts more focus on, how people are feeling in it and not just the bigger goal that we're all working towards.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of that in I've been reading articles lately because like they had quiet quitting for a while and that was a
Yeah.
thing like circulating on socials, but then now it's quiet crashing. And I
Uh,
was like, well, I was like, what stage of horrors are we in right now that people are talking about quietly crashing so that you don't get fired because the job market's so bad right now they can't afford to like crash out and like leave their job. I was like, we've lost the plot. Like this is
Yeah.
nuts.
I mean, but at the same time, if you think about it, like I feel like in every year, people feel like this is the end of the world. Like whatever the job market is, whatever is happening, they're like, oh, it's not the right time. You know how I'm one of those people who regret not buying a house when I was like 7 in the year 2000 because the market was so good, and everything seemed so good. So I don't know, but with me, like I started reading a lot on startups after I left, like immediately after I left, a lot of like nonfiction of like different startups in the past, like ones that failed, ones that didn't fail. And I just kept feeling like, that like euphoria meme, like, is this fucking play about us? Like it was insane because I also had all my friends worked in tech, and so I couldn't discuss it with them because I would be like, "Oh, can you imagine? Like, this is what they were doing." And I was like, "Oh, this feels like a cult." And all of my friends were like, "Well, I think you're over exaggerating. It wasn't that bad in our company, yada yada." And I was like, "No, it actually is the play about us. Like, you just don't realize you don't have a distance between you to see it."
Yeah. And I mean, that's literally why this podcast is called the Not My Job Pod, is because I was like, if I start running my mouth on certain things or like past companies that I've worked for, and granted, like some of them very, very positive, only positive things to say, but then like some of them, I'm like, yeah, you read those like stories of like
Yeah,
dysfunctional tech companies and you're like, oh, that play was about us. And
yeah,
yeah, so I'm going to pivot there because
yeah,
yeah, the whole point is that, yeah, I'm not talking about that industry. And so I do want to talk a little bit more about, yeah, just you in general, because I do find you to be a quite interesting person, but also publishing, because you do have a lot of quite interesting information
yeah.
about licensing, publishing, the industry. So which direction would you like to go
I
first?
guess let's talk a bit about my current job. But I worked in the same company before I joined a startup, and then I left the startup for that same company.
Are you
Different
allowed to say
office,
the
different.
company's name? Or are
I
you
don't
staying
know.
quiet?
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything like bad. It's called Paramount. Everyone knows it. Paramount Pictures, the one that does.
No, that's why I was asking. I was like, it's a big name company. Are you allowed to say that you work for Paramount or are
Oh,
we
I
not
have no idea.
allowed?
Well, you know what? We'll see how this podcast goes, and then we'll decide in the end if we want to include the company name or not.
Okay.
I'm gonna be vague just for now, just just in case we decide not to include it. But also, like, I don't think I'm gonna say anything like secrets.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's the same thing of like being an expert and like speaking at a conference. Right? It's
Hmm.
kind of, I don't know, but yeah. So I work in licensing. What this means. specifically brand licensing. What it means is we take a brand, like something you know very well, like think of, I don't know, I have a little Garfield there. You take Garfield and you have the rights for Garfield for that IP. And so you go to, let's say, like a an unnamed store, like clothing store. You go to them and you talk to them and you allow them to put Garfield on their t-shirts, and they pay you for those rights to do that. Why it's good for them is obviously it attracts people to their store because, you know, people who want to have Garfield on their t-shirts will know to go to that store to buy those t-shirts, right? And so this actually raises their sales, and obviously it helps with, well, if your brand needs help with brand awareness, it helps with that. Or just, you know, you get like some sort of income as a company from that business. It's not the biggest business in the entertainment industry, obviously, as like working for a big company that also does movies and everything. There are other branches, but it's I think a very solid one. It's a very interesting one because it's a lot of like educating people, educating companies, and also like having fun of like what can you imagine? What kind of like really cool product can you come up with that's gonna like exist next?
Yeah, I think the interesting part too is like a lot of companies, I mean, we think of like licensing music maybe, like is that allowed? And then like who owns the intellectual property and like what can go where. And so I guess what is like a popular character that like Paramount owns?
Well, we have SpongeBob, which is, I'm gonna use it as an example because it's for all ages. We have Paw Patrol, which is like the biggest in the preschool area, but obviously, like, I think your audience is gonna be more, you know, more we'll know more about SpongeBob, and obviously like all of the Paramount films and everything, Paramount Pictures and stuff like that. We have, which is surprising to be, but Emily in Paris is actually a Paramount property. This is not a Netflix property.
What?
So yeah, right. So we have,
What?
yeah.
No way. How does that even happen?
I don't know for sure. I assume that the studio, so Paramount, is the one that actually produces it with Netflix. It's just like it's exclusively on Netflix, and I assume it's some kind of collaboration. But in this contract, the rights for CP, so consumer products, stayed with Paramount. For example, Wednesday is actually not a Netflix property. It's owned by, I think, MGM. So all the merch that you see actually is not done by Netflix.
So Netflix isn't getting any money from like Wednesday licensing stuff, you're
I don't
saying?
know. That depends on what the contract is. I can't say, I don't know for sure, but I know that it's not being handled by them.
Hmm.
So they're not the ones who pitch it. They're not the ones who, I guess, do the style guides and stuff. So, but yeah, it was very very interesting because like Netflix has so many properties, and I think that's awesome. And that's so much fun. But also, like, I did not realize that a lot of those things they do in collaboration with others. Because obviously, if you think about it, there should be like like kind of a studio that produces the actual show, right? And Netflix is a platform that can't do it all by themselves. So it's an interest. It's like those kind of things that you never think about, but when you start looking into it, you do. Like for example, I was getting a tattoo done, and I was looking while I was doing that. I was looking through the tattoo artist's Instagram, and I was like, oh, you have a lot of stitches, like Stitch, you know, the character.
Mhm.
He's super popular right now. It's just like, yeah, like people keep requesting it. And I was like, you do realize that technically, because you are getting paid to do that, this is an IP that, you know, you I don't think it has any, like, there are any kind of regulations in tattoo artistry, which is super interesting because technically they're getting money from, while by using that IP. So technically, I don't know, maybe I'm starting a revolution here. She was very scared.
I mean, not great that you terrified your poor tattoo artist, but I do
That's
think that's yeah, because in theory, because like let's say Stitch of Lilo and Stitch is owned by Disney, right? So then Disney, in theory, could sue a tattoo artist who's like known for doing Stitch.
Yeah, technically, yeah. But I don't think anyone ever did anything to any tattoo artist ever. I don't know. I have a tattoo which is a licensed property, which is an IP. Let's say it wasn't licensed, so I shouldn't even say anything about it. But like, yeah, technically, if you think about it, they're getting money off IPs that don't belong to them.
And then how does it work? I assume there's like a lot of issues with like piracy as well. Like I was even just walking in Berlin in the Dongchuan Center and I saw it's been like how many weeks and they already have fake Labubus up. And I was I was looking at the label and I was like, those are Labubus. And then I was like, those aren't Labubus, those are like Labu boys or something like
It's La Fufus.
Lafufu.
That's what fake labubas are called. Yeah, piracy is huge, and it actually really depends on the market. I think in like Central Europe, in Western Europe, and the States, it's kind of like better. But there are other markets where piracy is huge, obviously, and it's up to your legal department and how strong they are. And obviously, it's like an ongoing process because you send like 10 cease and desist letters and 20 more pop up, you know?
Mhm.
So it's like an ongoing process. And I feel like it always is going to exist. But one thing that actually was super interesting to me when I first got into licensing, and it wasn't with this company, it was with a different agency. They actually told, and it was back in Russia where piracy is huge. What they used to do is they would search up companies that pirate their properties, contact them, and turn them into licensees, which is a great, like a great way to approach it, right? Because they want to sell those. So you just make sure that they do it according to the guidelines and with the correct royalties paid to the correct license owner.
I don't know though. I feel like if I created something and then somebody copied it in Russia and then I sent like a bunch of letters, like they could just ignore me. And then what? You know? Like
Well,
what?
Well, in Russia, we had cases. I obviously am not as familiar with other countries, but in Russia, there were definitely cases that really scared people. Like, for example, we had one where literally just like some small store, tiny, tiny store, you kind of like the equivalent of a Späti in Berlin, that was selling like a product with Peppa Pig. So the rights owners actually went to court and they won that by proving that they were kind of the characters looked way too similar and the product name was way too similar, which meant that, that created a precedent for other companies that wanted, if they wanted to do the same. Sadly, that was in 2021 and everything changed since then because now you can literally like pirate anything you want in Russia. But back then it was like a huge thing because there were actual changes happening because of that. So technically, yeah, you can. The thing is, like, how much money are you going to get off a tiny store, right? If it's creating just a precedent, yeah, that's great. But if it's not, you're going to spend so much money on a lawyer.
Yeah.
So
I
you
feel
win,
like
you lose.
a lawyer and then like translation costs and that gets to be a nightmare very fast.
For sure. And I think that's one thing that I noticed that is very different in like a big company, like comparing to startups, is you really think about like, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Your investment and, we're not going to go into a tiny contract because we just have so many resources dealing with it that's going to give us literally nothing. So while in tech, what I experienced is like a lot of like, let's just go for it. Let's try, let's put money into it. And in corporations, you're like, I guess you're more careful, but then at the same time, like it makes sense to me basically. It's, you see a lot more results because you are only investing your time and your efforts into things that are going to bring results.
Yeah. And there's a bit more liability, I guess, in corporate.
True.
So a few more loops to jump through.
Yeah.
How different is the working environment working at the same company that you were at in Russia versus Germany? Like, how is it different or is it pretty much exactly the same?
Yeah, it when I rejoined, to me it felt like I was joining a new company, but with like some kind of like a guidebook that had everything in it, Like I didn't really have to do an onboarding on any of the brands and any of the systems and stuff, but at the same time, like first of all, I joined the company pre-COVID. And so so I remember working in the office. I remember we had a party every Friday. Obviously, my company also owns MTV, which is the people working there were the most fun people I've ever met in my life. And so there was always something going on. There was always something fun, some kind of celebrities in the office, like things like that. And then you go straight into like working from home, which was a change that kind of like forced me to go first into freelance and then like look for what like other things to do. And then here I kind of you go into the office and it looks the same, like the styling is the same. However, there are like no people there. So, and the culture, I think it's not like the company as it used to be versus the new company. It's more like German versus Russian. And it just feels foreign. I think for people who work there for a long time in that country, it would feel okay. But to me, it's just, the system is just weird. Like we are tracking our time and our hours, working hours, and I'm just not used to doing this. I'm complying, obviously, and I'm doing it and I'm making sure that I do everything correctly. But it was like a culture shock.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's every, I guess, company in Germany, like,
Yeah,
is in
exactly.
theory supposed to be tracking
Yeah.
hours. Like, you're not supposed to work more than 40 hours a week. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you work in Germany and you're not tracking your hours, your company is kind of one-upping on you.
Well, mine is not. I just want to put it on the record. They're doing everything by the book.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think people talk about Germany as having like this unique working culture in general. And I think a lot of maybe expats when they come over, or not expats, I guess immigrants, because they're moving permanently, they're just
Mhm.
like not prepared for it. And I've never worked in like a German corporate setting, but like from what I hear from all my friends who do, it's like there's a very like rigid set of rules that you need to follow and like a
Yeah.
really rigid set of hierarchy that you need to follow. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm
Yeah.
sure I'd be fine. I've never had to do that.
Yeah, and it feels foreign to have those things, but at the same time, it's kind of comforting to know that there are like specific steps that you're not. I don't feel lost, basically. Like I know what to do, I know where to go, I know what to do and what not to do. It was actually very funny when I first like started at Paramount. Uh, HR tried to have a call with me to go through a huge presentation on like all of the perks and rules and stuff. Coming from a startup, I had a very startup mindset of like, let's save time, like let's go, go, go. How can I make revenue, blah, blah. And what I did, which I thought I was doing a good thing, is I went and I knew like a girl who worked since before I worked there. And I asked her like, hey, what's the presentation? So she sent me the presentation. I read through it and I just emailed HR, hey, I've already done it. I don't think we have to spend time on it. And the woman was shocked. And it only later dawned on me that like I did not do a good thing. I should have this is not how it works. And I
You're
was
like,
like,
actually, what was great at one company is me being incredibly rude at another.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like a culture shock. And I was like, so I'm not doing a good job? Wait, but am I not supposed to make you a lot of money on my fifth day? And she was like so appalled. And then I kind of realized and I just, it's weird how you like are so clueless in those kind of scenarios. And so like, I had to like kind of rebuild my mind and like how to act. But yeah, it was such a fail. I felt so bad.
Yeah, I feel like that's so common though with when you're going from like one company that has like a very specific kind of
Yeah.
culture to where, a different one is completely not like that. And I
Yeah.
was talking to our mutual friend Olga the other day,
Yeah.
and I was saying like it's crazy because I was giving an example of like something I did in a meeting at my current job, and she was like, "Well, that wouldn't have gone over well." Previous company, and I was just laughing so hard because like it's true, and like what will get you called like pushy and obnoxious at one
Yeah.
place is like an asset at another. So I guess maybe that's
So true.
the idea that you just need to like find a good fit, whatever it is, whether it's work or life or I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever works in like a current stage of your life.
Mhm.
But for me right now, I think it works. It works well.
Yeah. Would you say though that like I don't know if you were to like list out all the things in your life, what is the top thing that brings you joy? Like I don't want to put words in your mouth. I feel like it's not in a negative way, but like work isn't for one.
No, I mean, I've been specifically this year, I have been trying so hard to like invest time in things that make me feel at peace. Just because like I think as a lot of millennials, I have a lot of mental health issues. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean. But I guess I surround myself with people with the same kind of like and so I feel like I invested a lot of time with like spending time with my pets. And obviously, I love reading. I come from publishing, which is maybe where you're trying to head with this. The first thing that came to my mind actually is like walks with my dog, because I walk for an hour every single day in a park with my dog, and you will not get a meeting with me during the time when I have to be walking my dog. This is too important to me. It's like a ritual. Like people who have kids, take their kids to school. I take my dog to a dog park. Yeah, this is my priority. I think my boss is thankfully very understanding. She has 3 kids, so she has her own things going on, so she has to be understanding. But yeah, it's true. Actually, I really appreciate a job that realizes that people have lives outside of the office, which is
Yeah.
exactly what I want.
Yeah. I mean, you also do have like the best dog. He's just,
It's not even like, oh, the dog is so cute. He genuinely, like, 1,000%. I've never met a dog better. I will never met. No, there is no dog in the world that is as good as my dog. I am so sorry. I think I'm gonna get canceled after this podcast.
anyone, I mean, I feel like you're going to be fine because you've been consistent on this point. I feel like anyone listening to this who knows that I love their dog is now just finding out that I don't love their dog as much as I love them.
It's fine. Just have all of them on your podcast, and it can be like a little competition, like Hunger Games of the dog world.
I
I
mean,
can
nobody's
I can
nobody's
hear his
gonna, yeah, nobody's
ticky-tackies
gonna beat
behind me.
out, nobody can beat out Winchick, that's for sure.
It's true. He's the absolute best. There is no dog better than him.
But I do find it really interesting though, the process is crazy to take a dog internationally, like to move with the dog.
Mhm.
Because
I
yeah,
mean,
he's a Russian boy.
yeah, he's born and raised in some tiny Russian village. I adopted him from a shelter that had 1,500 dogs. They
Mhm.
literally get maybe like a few, like more, like 2 adoptions per month. It's impossible for a dog to get adopted. It's such a huge problem in Russia. I know if I ever get another animal, it's going to be from at least one of the countries, probably Russia, that has that kind of problem, because it's not a problem in Germany. But yeah, I think I also went the harder route because I've never flown with a dog before. And I was educating myself. I was educating myself a lot on it. And so, what we chose to do, because I also have 2 cats that I was bringing, and I was bringing them. My sister was helping me, and what we decided is they're much better at road trips. They know what they are, so we're gonna do a huge road trip and then a tiny flight, which means that it took me 4 days to travel from Russia to Germany, because we actually drove a car to Belarus, which is where our family's from. So we stayed there for I think a 1 full day after that, so that everyone just chilled. And then after that, we drove into Latvia, and then we flew from Latvia, which is just like an hour and a half. And so it was a lot of training. He obviously has like a huge crate where he flew. I also know this is like a touchy subject for a lot of people with like flying with dogs. And I am that annoying person when someone is like, oh, but there have been so many cases where dogs died and yada yada. And I'm the one who is like, actually, it's usually the fault of the pet owners, because they don't prepare. The breed is important. It's important to make sure that your dog is comfortable, like do this, not do this, yada yada. And so I think people get really annoyed at me, but it's true. It's actually like quite common to fly with a dog. You just need to go by the book. You need to prepare. You need to know what you're doing. And the absolute, like, most cases where things go south is because the owner did not do a good enough job.
Yeah. But he made it, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting canceled after this, I know.
No, I don't think so.
I came on this podcast to say all the things that people are gonna hate me for so that I get canceled.
I don't know. I think that is like a genuine concern. But
Yeah.
also I don't understand how social media works because like I don't know, over the last like 2 weeks, all my reach is just like tanked and I'm like, I don't know what's happening and I just can't bring myself to like care. I don't
But I
know.
feel like you haven't posted much, right?
Well,
Or
it's
maybe
obviously
it's
not going out to you. I'm posting the same
okay.
amount that I've been posting the entire time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. We've talked about this before. I'm obviously on social media a lot. I'm the perfect user. I think so generically. Like literally it's easy to like test things on me because I think like a very generic person. And yeah, I was like, "Oh, she's taking a break."
No, 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 no. It must not be going to you.
Yeah.
Obviously, the social media does not think that my content is applicable to you.
It is. It's just, yeah, well, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed your break.
No, but that's the thing, like, it really, like, messes with your mind, like, a little bit because 'cause you're like, "Oh, yeah, like, people hate it," but, like, people really just aren't seeing it, and then,
Yeah,
like, I feel like I was being cringy, but then somebody else didn't even see it anyway, so I don't know, it's like
yeah. And it's weird because I also have been like commenting on your posts lately because you usually say something that I don't quite agree with. And so I want to like fight you in the comments. And so maybe that's why like all the algorithms were like, can you just back off?
no, I feel like
You need to
then it should show it to you more. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know how the big tech gods up there are, like, twisting dials and, like, making things
you
work.
need to pray more if it's the
Maybe.
gods.
Apparently.
A
Pray to
little
the god.
sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely not.
We'll
God.
see, we'll see.
No, as far as, because you moved to Berlin in
20
22? And so, yeah, it's been 3 years. Do you think that you'll stay here long term?
No, I think I'm gonna stay here for at least 10 years, but when I think of myself retiring, I see myself on the shore in Sicily drinking a stupid amount of wine and eating really fresh tomatoes, and Berlin does not seem to capture the same vibe, I'd say. I don't know, Berlin is like I always say Berlin is a fun city when you're young, but I don't think that it's that good for, actually settling down. Which is weird. I don't like the concept of settling down. I think I've settled down already at the age of 31 with a dog. But, there is so much stuff to do. And I feel like it's a good city to be in while I have the energy to do it. But at some point, I'm going to crash. And I want to do it in Sicily.
What time though? I don't know. It's so interesting to me when you say that though, because I feel like 30, like I'm 35 and I'm like, I got at least like another 30 years of like being up and at 'em doing stuff,
Mm.
minimum. Hopefully longer than that. But like, I don't know. I don't see like my lifestyle changing all that much in the next like 10 to 30 years. Like, I don't
But
know.
that's the thing. I see it changing in 10 years.
Really? How is your lifestyle going to change in 10 years?
I hope I retire. I hope, like, somehow a huge amount of money falls on me
Don't
and
we
I
all?
will and I will never have to work a day in my life. And if I don't have to work, obviously I'm going to be in a huge mansion and not like in a very weird little apartment in Berlin.
I mean, I hope you just somehow stumble into a ton of money. That'd be great. And
Yeah,
then
that's the plan.
when I'm tired, I'll just yeah, I'll be like, "Wow, I'm ready to retire now." So then I'll just go move in with you. Really, I'm just hoping
Yeah,
somebody figures it out because like
right?
I have no real retirement plan.
Well, I do clearly, and it's tumbling into a bunch of money. I don't know if you can move in with me because I'm gonna have a lot of dogs.
Mm,
But, maybe I'll find like a little corner somewhere for you. I don't know. I somehow like I started with like this idea of like, well, when I was much younger, like 10 years ago, genuinely, and it terrifies me, thought that I wanted a family, a partner, and like I want to buy a house and, get into a mortgage and everything. And then as things went on, I just realized that this is not the goal in my life. It really is not something that I feel like is missing from my life. And so when I realized that I don't want kids, it was so liberating because I see so many people around me stressing, like
mhm.
everyone with their biological clocks. And I'm like, yeah, there might be a chance that I'm going to be like, oh, I missed my chance. But right now, I don't feel maternal and I don't want to do something just because, I might regret it later. And this is super liberating because you don't have this kind of like a timeline. And then also like you start realizing that like having property is not just it's not just a really like cool thing. It's not security. It also means that you invest so much money into like doing all the maintenance and stuff. And I don't that's kind of commitment. And like I'm clearly the only commitment I can do is the one that is a dog. So I don't know. I just kind of like when I let go of all the ideas that I thought I wanted, things got a lot better for me.
Yeah. I think for me along that vein as well, like I kind of in the last year got all like of the checkbox things that I wanted, which was residency in the EU. And granted, now I've waited 2 more years till I get the citizenship,
Yeah.
but like that was to me a big checkbox was like
Yeah.
the ability to live here. Um, having like, a semi-stable, maybe not career, but like skill set that can be
Mm,
applied to,
for sure.
making money. If I, knock on wood, I do actually like my job now. And so knock on wood that, I don't randomly
Yeah.
lose it, but, like, if I were to lose it, I'm confident that, like, I could find
Yeah.
another money. But, yeah, like, those things, it was like check, 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 or, like, learning German to a certain level to, like, check off for the visa. So, like, I did all those things, and now it's like I've arrived, and it's like, okay, well, do you wanna, like, set goals for the future, or do you wanna just, like, I don't know, kinda, like, enjoy whatever comes your way?
Yeah.
And I think for the first time, I'm, like, trying to, like, figure out how to just enjoy
Yeah.
what comes because, yeah, like you, I don't want kids. I'm not, like, trying to, like, make something happen by a certain time frame. I was like, "How do I just, like, enjoy what's happening to me right now?"
Do you ever get like this kind of fear of like, oh, maybe I should be moving towards something, towards the next thing? Do you ever get that?
I mean, that's the societal pressure that you should be or, like,
Yeah.
we should be thinking of the next step, the next goal, the next
Yeah.
checkpoint because, like, there's always been that check I don't know how it is, growing up in Russia,
Yeah.
but definitely growing up in the US, it was like, you go to school so you can go to university, and then you can get a good job, and then you can have kids,
Yeah.
and then, check, 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 check. I don't know. What was it like in Russia? What's the vibe?
Yeah, I think the same way. And my mom still kind of by default tells me and my sister that we need to get married because having a man is the best thing ever. But I it was actually like lately in the last, let's say, couple of years, I've been really good at realizing when the voice in my head is mine and when it's not. And I think that's what you're learning. Yeah, I think from a societal point of view, like when I hang out with friends who, I don't know, like, God forbid, have kids or, are happily married and stuff. And I'm like, I do have this thing of like, oh, do I want that too? Maybe I should want that too. But I am really good at like realizing, no, you're just projecting. You're seeing other people and you're like, oh, this seems fun, but it's not really for you. It's not really something that, like maybe I'll one day I'll be like a great mom and I would love it and I'd be a great partner, but it just does not seem like a priority, something that I want to like invest time like going on, I don't know, what do people go on these days? Bumble, and like investing time in 1,000 dates to find that perfect someone. Not something that
Yeah.
I want to do.
No, I mean, I was going through those motions until, like, I don't know, I went to go meet a friend for dinner and he was like, "Oh, what are you up to?" I was like, "Oh, I just went on date number 473." And he just looks at me, he's like, it doesn't sound fun. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not fun. Why am I doing this? And then I
Yeah.
just haven't been on one since. And like, I don't know, I've still met people. I've still
Yeah.
like, it's not like,
Yeah.
it just, life stops. But like at the
Yeah.
same time, I was like, oh, I don't have to. I was like, I can
Yeah.
just full app out. Like, this is great.
I love it. I agree with you so much because I have severe social anxiety and I hate getting to know people. Like ideally, I guess I just need to like go on my old social media and like see who from my high school or something is not married because like I don't want to get to know someone. I want to know, like, I need this person to also know me and I need to know them, and then that's the only way I think I can do it. I just hate getting to know people. It gives me so much anxiety. So yeah, I don't know. Is there like, can I just read a book about a person and then like decide if I want to date them or not? Like I think that would be my cheat code. And also if they also had a bunch of money that fell on them. That's all that I need. And a
Well,
house in Sicily with dogs.
yeah, I think all of those, if those are the checks of your boxes, then yeah, maybe it's not going to happen, and that's okay too.
We'll see. You know what? Maybe I'll be on your podcast in a year and I'm gonna have all of those things. You never know.
Who knows? Honestly, that's one thing I do know is I never know what the heck's going to happen. Because but that is one thing I do like about Berlin is I feel like I have more I don't know, like in Chicago, for example, like once people start hitting their 30s, like they are having kids, they're getting married, like just a lot of like weddings. And I do think in Berlin, I'm happy that I have a lot of like friends in their 30s, 40s, some 50s, and like
Yeah.
nobody's getting married. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Like we're, we're
Yeah,
all just, we're having a good
we kick
time.
them we kick them out as soon as they want to get married. They have to move to Brandenburg. We don't keep them in Berlin. We need the apartments.
Yeah. But also I don't know, I feel like there's like this adult kind of community. Like it's the only city I've lived in where like, I don't know, adults have like more of a free space to and I don't mean in like this cliche like Berlin
Mhm.
way, like but like I don't know, I have friends who are, like, just really talented at, like, costumes and that sort of thing. You as well, like, you sorry, I don't know why I'm thinking of another friend, like, you also do this where, like, you'll literally plan.
I'm talented at costumes. I wore a costume of literally a cucumber once, just a full body costume, and now you think I'm good at costumes. I got it on AliExpress.
Okay, I'm not thinking of okay, sorry, separating the thoughts. In Berlin, I think adults like, I have friends who do, like, amazing costumes, and so, like, they plan costumes, and then they
Yeah,
have events that they can wear those costumes at, and, like,
yeah,
that's totally acceptable for, like, adult behavior, build your own wonderland and, like, go live it. And
yeah,
then you specifically, though, will, like, come up with a party theme and then plan an event around that, and then all your
true.
friends have to dress up within your theme, but, like, that's
Yeah,
fun, like, just the act of
true. Yeah.
planning out what you're gonna wear and how it's gonna fit with the theme, and then go
Yeah,
hang out with
and
your friends.
I've never done that before Berlin. I think somehow like it woke something up in me. Like as I said, I do have social anxiety. It's really hard for me to make new friends. But somehow I just like I never even celebrated my birthdays before Berlin. And you know, like my birthdays are always planned these days and like months in advance. And the thing is like it's just felt welcomed by like with my insanity, like, I just love making people do fun stuff that I think is fun. Like, I think we never get to go out in really weird things, you know? Like, I was thinking this year there were like I always dress up for concerts. Like, obviously, you know, I went to see Pitbull dressed as Pitbull, just as everyone else did. And you know, I'm already planning my costume for Lady Gaga, who's coming in November. And it's just like the whole year was like just why don't we do this? Like I don't care. I want to wear glitter. I want to like dress up. I want to do something. Let's just fuck around. Like who cares? I threw my dog a birthday party that was themed around like a children's birthday party with all the like birthday hats and like a cake and stuff. Why not? Like, I can do this. Yeah, it's literally like people who got to adult money. And also, I was just thinking about it today how, like, truly, like, it's all over TikTok, but is without children is literally 20s, but with money. And so, you know, I can like get a tattoo and get a bunch of like stupid clothes and, you know, like throw a bunch of parties and stuff. And like, why wouldn't I do this? I don't have a child that's waiting for me at home, right? So I just want to like enjoy life while I can, and Berlin definitely is like the place that encourages that.
Yeah, I think that is partially Berlin because yeah, it's, like, all those little, like, creative things and it is what you make of it. I can see why some people complain that it's, like, a very lonely city and whatnot, but, like, I do think that it is a place where if you as an adult wanna, like, go build something, and that could literally mean, like, build a structure, you know,
Mhm.
that's, like, transport you into another world or I don't know, like Holzmarkt even is like a very basic example of
Mhm.
that, like that everyone can go to. It's not like, you know, but yeah, you just go in, it's like all these weird structures and you're like, it's kind of haphazardly put together, but like, I don't know. It's just fun. And it's like why cuz yeah, why not? You know, if you want to dress up extravagantly and
Yeah.
ridiculously for some activity, like you should be able to.
Actually thinking it's very interesting, you know how when someone talks about like the city of like opportunities or the land of opportunities, they always think of the US. And I think it's true that if you want to like build a business, I guess it seems like this is the country that people would go to, and you know there are so many opportunities, yada yada. While in Germany, it's so hard to like start a company; it's so expensive, you know, and like it's so hard to get into that system that people are forced to be creative, so people are forced to like find themselves in other places, you know, either you it's I mean you can build something up from scratch, however it's so difficult and so expensive that like you would rather, I don't know, like start, I don't know, like sewing dresses, you know, and or like doing something else. And that's the kind of creativity that you kind of like get out of, I guess, a place of need, because you need to do something different, right? And so you need to be, you know, like you need to express yourself in some way. So maybe that's where it comes from.
I agree. And also like in Berlin, if you get like a 3% salary raise, like after taxes, you don't even notice it.
Yeah,
Because it's like it comes in and you're like, "Oh, woohoo, an extra 15 euros a month," or whatever, which,
exactly.
okay, nice, but, like, it's
Yeah.
unless you're getting a big pay bump, it's really not worth it to, like, fight for
Yeah.
these small raises, and so, yeah,
Is it
nobody's
different
coming to
in the
Berlin.
US? Wait, is it different in the US? Do you actually see the 3%?
I don't know, I'd have to do the math and, like, look at the taxes, but, like, yeah, if you I mean, a normal raise would be, like, between 2 and 5%, and you would notice it.
Wow.
Um,
Well, good
yeah,
for them.
yeah. But also your salaries would be a lot higher, so, like, I don't know, I went from the US where I was making 6 figures to, like, now I'm making, like, half of what I used to make, and, like, yeah, you don't move to Berlin for the money,
Well, maybe
but
from like Eastern Europe.
maybe, but
I
also I
do come
think
from Russia.
you know, it's nice though that like, I don't know, it's not about the money, which granted, I know people do wanna go to the US to make money, but
Yeah.
also Berlin is one of those places where, you know, I have a lot of friends who are like, "I'm gonna take a year off and, like, learn
Yeah.
how to do this and, like, do, like, an
Yeah.
Ausbildung and, like, an internship and, like, you know,
For
go
sure.
work in,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
making
kind of like,
eyeglasses."
yeah, like it takes off the pressure off you to like go somewhere. Well, what we discussed, like I feel like I really changed my mind about having a career. Like,
Mhm.
I also think that I've done a lot of really cool things, and so now I kind of want to I want to basically be excited about the things that I do. I don't want to do cool things because I feel like I need to prove myself to anyone. I feel like I've proved myself to myself, and that's all that I need. So now it's more about like, I want the company to benefit from me being me, from my talents, and I don't want to like constantly be in fear of, being of being let go, which Germany really helps because, we have unemployment benefits and stuff. So I don't feel scared at all.
Yeah,
Like, I also have seen so many brilliant people being let go that now it's just, even my ego is kind of out the window. Like, such amazing people get let go. So, who cares?
it's not personal.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes it is, but most of the time it isn't.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time it isn't. But I don't know, it's yeah, I do think it's just a different mentality here compared
Yeah.
to, yeah, maybe other places, but I don't know, yeah, it's nice to, like, actually have room to, like, separate your work from your
For
actual life.
sure. I don't
Yeah.
know, it's just I just realized that, like, evenings and weekends became so much more important to me with, like, my new job, but also, it was very funny, I felt very accepted. I saw my friend on Saturday, and we talked about how before that we were going to meet, like, a few weeks before that on a Sunday, so our mutual friend invited us, and in the end, I was too tired, and so I had, like, an event on Saturday, so I bailed on Sunday. And we're talking about it and how like our other friend was not happy about it, and my friend was like, "Oh, I didn't even expect you to come. You hate going out on Sundays. You hate being out of the house on Sundays. I knew you wouldn't do it. I know this is your like recharge day that you just take for yourself." And I was like, "Oh, I feel very accepted." Like she knew exactly. She like knows not to even reach out about like a Sunday brunch. She knows I mean I can do it, it's just that I prefer not to. I need
Yeah.
that day for myself.
But I think, I don't know, to be, like, better friends, we all just kind of have to, like, accept those, like, quirks in people, like,
Yeah,
I don't know, there 'cause honestly, I have this one friend who I didn't realize that I was doing this, but she called it out, and I thought it was, like, really funny because she was like, "Sometimes I'll text you and I'll be like, 'Do you wanna come with me to this?' And you'll just be like, 'No, not really.'"
I would appreciate that. I feel like I'm the same way. Like my
"No."
sister gets annoyed at me a lot because she's like whenever I invite her somewhere, she's happy to do it. Like whenever I have a suggestion, she's happy to try it. While I prefer to stay in my comfort zone. Like I don't like modern art museums and she loves them. And she knows it, I know it. I'm not gonna go. So many times when we've traveled and for example there wasn't much around to do, I literally would just sit in a cafe and read, which is something that I prefer. And she would go and spend like a couple of hours in the museum. And like, I tried it. I don't like it. It's like, I don't want to do it again. I know it's a bit ridiculous, but like, it's my comfort zone, you know? It's the same thing with like, she loves like ballet and stuff. And I'm like most of it like I'm gonna do it once but I'm not gonna do it all the time, and she like does theater and like circus and goes to all these places, and I'm like I'm happy for you, I'm gonna join you when I want to, but you don't even have to invite me, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just not my thing.
I think that's nice though. It's like if you can take your friends and then just like accept them for what they are and what they do and don't want to do, then that's
Yeah.
really great. One that I'm trying, I've like officially I realized it was a me problem. I
It
was
always
trying
is.
no, yeah. Thanks. Because I have 3 friend groups, I would say. I have a couple, like, peripheral people who aren't really a part of one of those groups. Overall, I would say I have 3 groups that I hang out with
Yeah.
regularly and, like, really do, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm part of those groups, and the one from our former employer, that's branched out since then, but most of the people in that group, worked at that company or are dating someone who worked at that company, like, that's how we know that group, that's our group. Now
I'm
you're like,
trying to understand who you're talking about.
no, no, but, like, affiliated with that. And so that's, like, our group of friends. But then I also have a group of friends from the first company that I worked at when I came to Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, so there's that group. And then there's, like, one other group that I know through, a guy who I lived with when I first came to Berlin, and, we live down the street from each other now, but we don't live together anymore. So then there's that group.
Mm-hmm.
And for ages, I was like, "I like all of these people. I want them to get together and, like,
Yeah.
mix," and, like, I was just trying so hard to get them to mix, and then nobody wanted to mix, and you know what, and now I'm like, "It's okay, you don't have to mix,"
Yeah.
and even now, like, everyone, like, even humored me, and I think it was, like, such a testament to, like, I don't know, I really appreciated that you guys tried. Like, everyone 2 of the groups, not even the 3rd, 2 of the groups were over, and then everyone was like, "Alright, we're gonna try these dumb conversation games and give it a shot." But even then, it was like, "Ugh, we're not mixing," and I was like, "Alright, my friends don't wanna mix, that's."
That's
Nobody
true.
dislikes
That's
each other.
interesting.
Nobody dislikes each other, but nobody wants people are like, "I have my friends, I'm done."
Yeah, I think it's because you gravitate towards people that you know. It's really hard. Like I'm thinking about it because like obviously when I'm in a place where I don't know anyone, I would prefer to know some people, but then at the same time if I know some people, I'm just going to be around them, right? I'm not going to go and like talk to other people. Why would I do that? I have social anxiety. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's like we tried, but also like I think everyone has more to talk about with people that they know. So you just by default do it. If you're forced to, you're going to talk to other people. Yeah, I think it also the dynamics need to be different. Like, we do talk about like, our past memories, which I think you do with every group. You have like some really cool memories that you want to bring up and stuff, and like some, I don't know, like inside jokes. And it's just not going to work when you have two groups of people, right? Because after all, like they will all want to feel comfortable, and so they're more comfortable with people that they know. I don't know,
Mhm.
it's just I think maybe you should start with like one person at a time, just bringing them along, introducing them, then another one, and so on.
Yeah. I feel like yeah, because like, now yeah, if we run into another one of my friends at, like, a cycling class, now you're sociable, but that's, like, a
Because
one-on-one.
because I know at least 50% of people there, which is you. If it's you and your friends, 50% of
Yeah,
people
that's an okay
already.
ratio. Yeah, I think that was my wanted I don't know why I had it in my head. I think it was more of like like over the last year, I was like,
Yeah,
I want like more of my friends to like intermingle. And now
yeah,
I'm like, you know what? It's fine. They don't need to intermingle. I love them the way that they are in their own
yeah.
separate
I mean, you can keep trying. It's just I think it is really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. I don't know. I think, yeah, I do feel lucky though, because I think a lot of people in Berlin complain that they don't have any friends and that they can't find friends and that it's really hard
Mm,
to form meaningful relationships. But like, I genuinely feel like I do have a lot of people who I could call and
yeah.
be like, get over here, I need help. And just
Mm,
so many people would do it. And I would do it for other people too.
yeah. I feel like you have a lot of friends, and I am always like in awe. I once saw you said you had like a joint calendar with your friends, and I was so jealous. It's so cool because,
Yeah, but
like,
then you created a joint calendar with 2 of our other friends that I'm not invited to.
to be fair, we did it when it was just the three of us, as like we're getting close, and we needed it not because there were events, but because two of them are never in Berlin. I'm the one
Yeah.
who's in Berlin, and they never are. So literally, our conversations are, "Oh my gosh, there's one day in November when we're all here. Let's book it. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put another thing, another." Or like trip that I'm going on. So, okay, so let's make sure to plan something in 2026. Like, it's that kind of thing. It's literally to know when we're not here, not like when we're doing things.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
also, like, I think it would give me a lot of a lot of anxiety to have a calendar where it's just events, because I would see people doing other stuff and I would be like, oh, I want to do that too. But I genuinely would be like, oh, I'm not sure they want to see me there. I just I know myself, like, it's hard. I need to be, like, invited. I need to know that people, like, want me there. Otherwise, I'm like, "Oh, I don't should I not come?" And then I feel super awkward when I'm there.
In my head, if it goes on the shared calendar, then you are inviting everyone who has the access to that shared calendar.
Yeah, well, I don't have anything like that, so that's why, like, I don't have that kind of mindset maybe yet. I don't know. We should start a shared calendar. Let's just do it for the 2 of us. It's gonna be, like, just me every Sunday, like, not leaving house.
You're like, "Sorry,
You're
Sunday."
not invited to my house on those days.
Yeah, but shared
It's
calendar
not
is definitely an interesting approach.
Yeah, but speaking of, like, feeling awkward, like, I saw you guys went on lunch without me. Like, was it over the weekend or something? Was it on Sunday? You were invited. I saw you and a bunch of people posting about it.
You were invited.
No, I wasn't.
I can pull up the text where you were invited. You're in the group chat where we discussed it and
Which
planned the
group
whole
chat?
thing.
What's what is it called?
You were absolutely invited. Hold on. She said, "Let's go here for our brunch on the 11th at noon," because in the big
Uh,
chat, everyone had
oh,
already said, "I wanna come. Sorry, I can't come." And I was the only one in that chat that said that they could go. So
which
no,
chat was it? Wait, which chat was it?
it was I think was the
Okay,
one where she tried to
okay. Sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to know.
I like how
No,
you're trying to put it on me, but no, you were invited to that brunch the whole freaking
it's just
time.
it's just me being overwhelmed and not reading through everything or like remembering what I read, so it's on me. It's definitely I mean, I knew it's on me.
You were very much invited.
I just ignored it. It's okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're always invited to brunch. That was a good one though, actually, because I mean, this is what Ash said. She was like, every brunch in Berlin is eggs Benedict and waffles and
So true.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this one, she was like, "Okay, it's something different," and it was. It was really good. It was like Greek, but
Great.
like kind of had a little spin on it. It was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Ash and her like food account. I'm obsessed. Like it was that like love when I was just scrolling through and it literally like I saw the beautiful sandwiches and I stopped and I watched it and I was like, "Oh, I need to send it to someone to like save it." And then I realized that it's my friend and I don't need to save it. I follow that account. And it was like I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it." This is exactly how it should work. I loved it.
Yeah, nice. I think, yeah, I just like scrolling through. I like scrolling through Instagram for food photos for sure.
Get too hungry.
In general. Yeah. Though I kind of disgusted myself recently when I looked on Google Maps because I have this list of all the restaurants that I've tried in Berlin
Mhm.
and like
Well,
my reviews, and there were over 100. And I was like, you have been in this city for 2.5 years and you've been to over 100 restaurants. I was like, that's disgusting.
but that's awesome. I think that's great. What are you talking about?
I don't know, that's bad because I've been to a lot of them more than once. So, like, I was like,
What are you
"Man, I
talking
hang out a
about?
lot."
I probably had like 5 restaurants, and one of them is the kebab place next to my house, which is insane. The best kebab, like doner kebab I've ever tried in Berlin. But I've been there maybe like 20 times by now. I've lived here for 2 years in this apartment. 20 times. That's too much. But also like, come on. If you like the food, like the food.
Yeah.
We have another joint friend, Tamara, who just like loves trying out new places. And she like always has amazing recommendations, and it's definitely her thing, similar to Ash. So it's just that is a hobby. That's a hobby to try new food. So
Mhm.
why are you being so mean to yourself? Maybe that's like a
No,
hobby, and also you
I don't
review
know.
all of them.
In my head, it was just I was like, "Man, this is." No, I guess that's an interesting point because yeah, it is kind of like it is a hobby, but
Yeah.
also the amount of money that I spend on food is like would disturb some people. But I guess some people are spending stupid amounts of money on like other stuff. I don't know.
You, as like a person that definitely has something wrong with her brain, like, do you know how many failed hobbies I have? Like, I literally have like, I'm gonna say, what do I have? I have like 4 sets of acrylic markers because I got really into coloring, and it's like 400 markers. So
Wow.
like, you can't tell me anything. I love it. I still do it from time to time. So, but still, I have so many failed hobbies.
I mean, I'm shocked that this podcast is still going on. Yeah. I don't know. If anything,
For
I
you,
feel like it's just gonna be like an anthology of like my mid-30s of like the people who I was talking to at that time. I'll have like
love
it'll be
it.
like a little time box. I don't know when I'm gonna get tired of it, but not
Yeah.
tired of it.
But you're not tired of it. You don't seem to be. You seem to be seem to have like still a lot of like very strong opinions that you share. I love it. And it definitely is bringing people to, to your podcast and to your profiles. So
Yeah.
just sharing it. While you enjoy it, like why not?
Yeah. No, well, it's fun. I'll keep doing it, but yeah, it's just weird because yeah, it's like I'm actually doing it just for myself because
Yeah.
it's fun to like make the little videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my reach, I'm not optimized, like
Yeah.
I'm not A/B testing, I'm not, which is interesting too because I'm like in my head now, I'm like, okay, I kind of get how social media works, and I feel like if I did want to like make money, I would choose a niche. I would niche down and then A/B test content and hooks and stuff. But yeah, like to me, that's not the fun part. That's work.
Yeah. Well, you follow it. I think I do have like a second account that's just about books because I love books, I love reading, and I haven't posted anything, I think, this year. It's very interesting because I did the whole like profile because I just love ranting about books and working in tech. I just missed it. I missed like being able to just go and rant and like talk about things and like share things. So I did it. And the weird thing is, I still write posts a lot, actually. Maybe every month I just come up with something in my notes and write it down. I just never post it. I like, I need to, but it just feels like, I don't know, I kind of lost that belief in myself that it's interesting, I guess. I need to like make sure that I share something that could actually be interesting to people, right? So I guess,
I don't think you do. I think you can just share it. It's like half the stuff that I
yeah,
post, I'm like, I don't really care if this is interesting
yeah.
to somebody
To be fair,
else.
while I was saying this, I just realized like I'm thinking about invisible people when I have maybe like 12 followers and most of them are my sister's pets accounts. So I'm not sharing it with anyone, but I don't know. I just feel like I think I just lost the belief that my thoughts are interesting. I'm not even about like other people. I guess I don't know. And
I think you
it's
should
weird because I'm still writing it, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm just not hitting post basically.
I feel like you should bring that up in therapy because I think your thoughts are interesting.
Next time, I'm gonna just because I do online therapy, I'm just gonna invite this link to my therapist and you're gonna be there as a third person. You're like, I'm just listening in.
Yeah, yeah, it's just this is the podcast now. The Anna's therapy
No, that would be true crime podcast at this point. I did not kill anyone yet.
yet. All right. Well, is there anything else though that I don't know you wanted to talk about and then we didn't, or you can be like no, and then that's the end, and then you did it. I dragged you on the podcast, and it wasn't. I hope it wasn't so bad. Well, thank you so much for being here. I hope it wasn't the worst hour of your life, and
Come on. You know I've had worse.
always
I've had to talk to men about podcasts, so you know.
talking to men about podcasts is always
Exactly.
a little bit worse than being on one.
Oh my gosh, I'm one of them. I'm one of the people I always wanted to destroy.
And on that note, yeah.